How's it, everyone? Welcome back. This is the Mac Coast to Coast Show. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you know when we go live. Here's your host, Brian McLamara.
Hey, Mac Coasters. Welcome back. We got another fantastic episode for you. And I'm here with my main man, Razzle Dazzle.
What's happening, everybody? That sun's out, the water's warming up, working on that base tan, baby.
And T-Mac.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Thanks for all the love on the last show. I like the views and all the comments. Appreciate it. Enjoy the show.
All right. Before we get started, we're going to go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsors. Future 6, helping kids learn how to surf. And Brotherhood 808 Clothing. We're your friends or your chosen family. Brothers for life, living it to the fullest. All right, guys. So, hey, welcome back. It's been another fantastic episode. What's been going on?
I just wanted to say a little something to one of our sponsors, Brotherhood. You see us all wearing the shirts? Yeah, baby. And
Got to represent.
Yeah,
look at the
boys.
guns on that
Got
boy.
the hats now, starting to get it flowing, man. I'm about to work on my website, get that up and running. I'll put the link in the description as soon as I'm up and running and ready to go, and hopefully get some support from you guys.
Thanks for the hookups, Tibby.
Yeah,
Yeah,
brother,
man.
you guys are good in them, man. You know, I like them.
I also wanted to bring up our other sponsor, F6. They got a little surf camp thing going on here, not this weekend, but next weekend. So you guys look them up on Facebook. They're under F6. You can find out all about it. They had one this past weekend. I heard it was a hit. So, support our sponsors, man. We'd really appreciate it, because they go the extra mile for us. So.
Yeah, that's an awesome cause, man. And I'd love to, I'm going to check out the F6 for sure. That's cool, man. And you just go to Facebook, you said, Raz?
Yeah, it's on Facebook, F6.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I wanted to show you guys this little light I found on the beach too, man. I'm pretty proud of it. It's
Wow.
What the hell is that?
It's a solar-powered buoy light.
Wow, you found it on the beach?
Yeah, man. I was walking and I was like, what is that? I thought it was like one of those little, things from side of the road when they're doing construction or whatever, one of those blinking lights.
So
Yeah.
you took it.
Well, I was cleaning the beach, but I scored. I saw them on eBay for $150.
Wow. So it actually was in the water and floated up on the beach and it still worked?
It was up there from high tide, yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's
It is
Whoa.
awesome.
Brian's got some new sound effects going on now. Let's hear
That's right, I do.
your music voice, man.
Yeah,
Say
That's
the
right.
Coast to Coast,
Let's
Coast
hear
show.
beat pain. Do a little beat pain for us.
Mac Coast to Coast, yeah.
Yeah, I love it, man. Did you guys check out the contest? The WSL contest was awesome this week, man. I was glued to the TV for days. It was such a good contest. We had the women results. We had Isabella Nichols taking on Carissa Moore. That was awesome contest. I don't know if you guys got to see the air that Carissa Moore pulled off.
That was pretty cool, man.
It was an innovative, for women. It was like she was surprised herself. She basically put her hands on her cheeks and was like, "Oh my God, I did it, dude!" Like, I mean, for me, it was watching it live. It was really a heartfelt moment for Carissa. I don't know her real well, but I do surf with her a lot. And the first time I ever saw her surfing was at Kiwalos, and I was sitting on the wall watching these surfers out there, and I was like, "Damn, that dude rips." I said that to my friend, and her dad was sitting right there, and he's like, "That's my daughter," and I was like, "Oh, this is
that how you met her?"
No, I mean, he was just, yeah, that's basically the first time I ever saw her surf live, and she was just killing it, and I was like, I thought it was a guy, and because she's such a good surfer. And she's changing women surfing. I can actually watch women surfing nowadays. I used to never want to watch it, but now I'm glued. I love it because they're ripping now. And not only because of Carissa, but you got like, you know, you got other great surfers too. You got all of them, you know, they're all like, they're turning the page on women surfing for sure.
Definitely stepping it up, man. It's so much different from, you know, I was a little kid surfing. Like you said, it wasn't very good to watch. It was kind of boring, and I'm impressed.
Yeah, you got, you know, Stephanie Gilmore. She's like, you know, helping all these young girl surfers look up to this girl, you know, because she's like the Kelly Slater of the women's, and she's really you know, innovating surfing for women, and it was awesome. And then you had the men's side, you know, which, you know, the Brazilian Storm taking over. I mean, these guys are incredible, dude. They do airs on the anytime they want. It's like they could pop an air and just pull a 360 like we do off the lips. It's like incredible how they do that in the contest too. You know, I mean, you had it was really good. You had Italo Ferreira, and you had Gabriel Medina in the finals, and that was just unreal. I love the contest when the waves were on the inside bowl, because it was a little more high performance. The waves were more bowly. It was more of a beach break, and then the waves picked up towards the finals or the quarterfinals, and they started surfing the outside, which I was kind of bummed about because I was enjoying that inside bowl. But what a great thing. And you know that this day and age that we're in now, you know, these contest directors, they have the technology to be able to pinpoint these swells, when the high tide, when the swell's going to be there, the winds. They have it down to a science now. And that's kind of what I wanted to bring up is our guest today. We have Jon Warren, which is the lead forecaster for Surfline. Welcome, Jonathan.
So, Jonathan, what do you want to talk about today? I mean, like I said, I was going to ask you about FSU, and then I was going to ask you about how the actual buoys and all that, you know, because I hear it all the time, and I kind of have a grasp of it, you know, the distance between the waves and all that. But I was kind of, maybe if you could educate some of our listeners that aren't, you know, big surfers yet, or they're, you know, still learning, and maybe you could just kind of give them a brief synopsis on what that's all about.
Yeah, I'd love to blow up the Surfline also, you know, and get everybody to, you know, get their premium memberships, and, you know.
Yeah, just go ahead and let us do all the hard work, and you guys can just go to the site and check the forecast and know, and with the motto, know before you go. But yeah, it's you know, as far as the buoys are concerned, because there's so many variables, and you know, like the buoys are just one instrument that we use to get an accurate reading on the swell, you know, because it's actual observation. So it's something real, as opposed to the models, which is just a forecast. It's all in like a maybe or a probability. Whereas when a swell's on the buoys, then you know it's for real, and it's on the way, and how big it is, and the period, and things like that. You know, swell and just weather as a whole, it's just math, you know. So, you know when a swell is coming from a certain swell angle, period, it's going to take X amount of hours from that buoy to your coastline. You know, and we definitely have them all mapped out, and it's nice when we have a lot of buoys in certain areas, just because we get all like that, just all like the validation, you know, to know what exactly is going to exactly impact the coastline soon. Whereas other areas, there are no buoys, you know, such as off mainland Mexico. You know, there is that one buoy off of Chile that occasionally is working, and sometimes it's not. But you know, other than that, you don't like the closest buoy that at least we have access to is not until you hit Southern California. You know, it's as far as swells impacting the West Coast. For Hawaii, you know, you have the Samoa buoy, which sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. And then you don't have the next buoy until it's about, you know, just a few hours out before it hits South Shore. the southwest buoy sitting to the southwest of like the islands, one to the south, one off the big island, but that's basically what you would call a nearshore buoy, as opposed to those ones way out there. So you kind of give a little more of a heads up that the swell's exactly doing this. And so we use other indicators for places like that where swells are traveling thousands of miles, of just how it shows in places like Tahiti. And then swells come up through the Tasman. We check in with our good friend Scott Weiner over there that lives on Tabarua on just how the swells are impacting cloud break, and what's going to be left over by the time it makes its way up to the Hawaiian Islands. So yeah, I mean, like, the buoys are huge. It's mostly because it's real. It tells you exactly what's in the water and what's going to be heading your way.
Yeah. So what's the future for Surfline? I know, like the camera quality in the last 20 years since you guys been on, I've been checking your cams for how many years now. Saved me a many road trips to the North Shore, by the way. And yeah, I mean, now when I get on there, it's like HD, it's sick, and I'm thinking, like, what do you guys have? Like a guy that goes there and, like, when it rains in the mist from the ocean, or you got a guy that goes and wipes the camera off, or how does that work? And, like, are you guys working on more cameras and, like, Diamond Head for me? Like, I could check the ways at Diamond Head really easily. I know there is one, but it's a weird angle, I just was wondering, what's the future for you guys?
Turn that camera, would you?
Yeah, definitely always working on improving the camera network quality and more of them. But I will say, from when I first got the job back in 2006, and even before I had the job, when I just used to check the website, our camera network has come a long way. It's so much better now. Like, I mean, I do the surf reports like for California and also for like Hawaiian Islands, using cameras where, first off, there's just a few of them, and then if they're working, and they're like small little boxes that you're trying to watch the surf through, and it's pixelated, and if there's any kind of fog, I mean, you could just like forget about it, or if they haven't been wiped, so at that point, doing a surf report is more of a guess, or it should be waist to chest high. So they have definitely come a long way. They're HD, and we have multiple cameras for like the same break. I mean, if you look at like the south side of the Huntington Beach Pier, there's 4 cameras, HD cameras, filming the same zone. Basically, you have that entire zone from, the south side of the pier, like right off the pier from the pier bowl, all the way past Tower 7, all the way down like the Huntington Street, like that whole area is, you can, so it's like you don't miss a wave. And then the whole north side of the pier, and that's just one spot. We have like, I want to say there's like 7 cameras on just one break. So we're doing a lot more of that, where we're kind of encompassing the entire zone, making it more of like an arena, so go to a spot, you just, bam, it's like being at the beach, where you would look and pan around, with your own eyes, you can see everything, as opposed to just being locked into one little spot, or having the unfortunate where you're watching the camera, and then it pans away from a set, and you're like, man, there was a set just about to come, and it pans away.
I have that happen to me when I watch it.
Yeah, so like now you can have multiple cameras up covering every inch of coast of that same break, so it's, you don't actually miss any of the action. So yeah, we're looking to do a lot more of adding cameras into, the spots that are more popular, known breaks. Obviously, we've always walked a fine line, but between exploiting any kind of breaks that we don't want to. We always err on the side of the local favor. There's a lot of breaks that we held off on putting any kind of camera, even though we had a camera host that's like, put one in here. I have a great view of the break, but we're like, yeah, but the locals are gonna be pissed off. So
Yeah, that's a question I was gonna have for you. Was like,
Yeah.
what is that all? I mean, you can't put them everywhere because
No.
you're gonna have some angry people.
Yeah.
So how
Yeah.
does that work? And like, who makes that decision? And how does that work? Like, who talks and deals with the people and figures out where you can and cannot put them? How does that work?
Well, it's certainly not me that does the talking there. We actually have a camera team. You know, through the years, it's turned into a whole, like, I want to say there's like 5, 6 guys that work for the camera team now. Whereas back in the day, there was only one guy. His name was Kurt Herman, and he was the man. You know, he was, but he would talk to the camera host. He would talk to the locals. He would get the feel for it before we put any kind of camera in there. And we always aired on the side of the local favor. You know, if most of the locals are like, yeah, please, you're always going to have a couple guys that are like, no, and even then, like, when there's a strong pushback, then we hold off. I mean, like, a perfect example would be like Salt Creek, right? It's not a secret spot. Everybody knows about Creek. It has a huge parking lot. You can see it before you even walk down there. It's in the middle of Orange County. There's surf contests there all the time. And we held off on putting a camera there for the longest time, for years. Just because there's a group of locals that are like, no, man, like, don't, and then until they finally, I guess, were like, okay. So then we're able to put one in. And same with the spot like Trestles, that's like, everybody in the world knows about that break. And it wasn't that long ago that we finally put a camera in there.
Yeah, but that's quite a hike, so it does help to have a camera there.
It does.
I've hiked that trail a few times. It's a pretty good walk.
And you know what? Going on that, one thing to point out too, and you can almost argue that the cameras at spots like that, where it's already always crowded, have actually helped with the crowd, because now people can go on the camera and see there's already a lot of heads out there and be like, yeah, I'm not going to go there.
Right.
Whereas before they wouldn't know, and since they already did that walk all the way down there, they're like, well, I already walked down here, like, I might as well paddle out. And so the crowd at spots like that would get huge, because like, if it's any kind of swell that's hyped, like, they would all go down there, and then they already did that walk, and they're like, well, I might as well paddle out.
You got to cool off by then. You're sweating, so you got to jump in the water at least.
I liken that to the they just built a local Bojangles. I don't know if you guys heard of this. Have you guys heard of Bojangles? It's like a big deal in the South.
I like Bojangles, yeah.
Fried chicken. I've never heard of it, and so they just built one up here, and I'm like, it's like wrapped around the whole shopping center, and I'm the line.
They put a chicken cam on that thing?
I'm like, they need to, because I'm like, people must have drove all the way up there and said, well, I drove all the way here, I might as well stay in line. I'm like, I mean, who waits 2-3 hours for that stuff?
Dude, Brian,
you might be onto something, dude. Drive-through cams. How long's the wait, man?
I love it. Yeah, I was gonna ask you, Jonathan. You guys must have caught a lot of really good stuff on video. If you're always video, and Brian loves the beach beatdowns, and I'm sure that you guys caught some crazy stuff on the beach, like through the years that you guys been video, and fights and
everything. We actually have
you got some good footage
of just random stuff, everything from like someone proposing to their wife to meteorites. In fact, I actually just made a post on like my Instagram of a meteorite that happened last night off of Florida's coast, and it was captured by the Cocoa Beach Pier camera of ours, and you can see it just shooting across the sky. It was actually like huge, like, as like the fireball from this thing. And we got things like that. We have, whales that are like right on.
Where do we go to see that? What is that, on your Instagram or something?
I do have some posts on my Instagram, and other surf forecasters have them posted, and cool. Even the Surfline Instagram, for the company also does random posts like that, when we have those. But we don't have a special place on the website where all that lives.
Yeah, you should make a video of all of it spliced together. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome, man. I wondered about that. I was like, you guys are constantly videoing. You got to catch some really cool stuff,
Oh,
What's the craziest thing you've ever caught on camera?
Plane crashing on the beach.
Wow.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
That's one of them. Like we have like there was a plane crash on a beach like in Portugal that there was a boat running aground at Kaiser's actually.
Ormond? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ormond Beach, one beached up there too. I think it was a shrimp boat.
Yeah, no, we have a few of those boat. It's what was that called? A qualified captain. I'm not sure if you guys follow that, but yeah, it's basically the guy just missed the inlet. He just missed the channel. And
I think it might have been Sean Slater, our buddy, when he was practicing.
But yeah, man,
shout out Captain Sean.
Oh man, yeah, we have definitely caught a lot of random things, but yeah, I mean, like there's been fights and there's been things that we caught on the camera that we had to pull off because it was going to go to a court case, and we had to pull it off because we actually have a feature that's been live now like for years. It's called the Cam Rewind, and you can go back on there and find clips from the past 5 days. So if you're surfing a spot with one of our live HD, our high quality cameras, you can actually get clips of you. In fact, we actually put out every once in a while, like we put out a highlight reel of footage caught on the Rewind, where it's guys just ripping, pulling the barrels, and one like the number one spots for that is a spot like Pipeline, where it's close in and you just see these guys getting spit out of barrels. It's yeah, I mean, you see like right there on the beach,
the Pipeline video. I was on there today, man. It's such a clear camera, man. It's awesome. I would, if you got pitted and then you'd want to get that footage,
Yeah, and we have two cameras of Pipeline. We have a zoomed in one, a zoomed out one, and then we have two cameras at backdoor, which arguably I think is a better camera just because it feels like you're closer and the guys are surfing right towards the camera, and it's just.
Can we check that out? Can we go there right now? Let me check that out. Can we go to the website?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, you just go to Cams, go to United States, or
you guys gotta sign in with your premium account, or you're gonna get ads.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, I used to have a premium. I let it go out, but I usually just jump on and check the conditions.
So where do I want to go here, guys?
Awesome.
Let's go to that cam.
I think, and then you go to Pipe.
You can just go in the search bar right at the very top and just type in backdoor and take you right to it.
All right.
Just type in backdoor.
So Jonathan, I see your
number one on the list.
I see your surfboard in the back there, and you surf for Billabong still?
Yeah. I actually I've been riding them. I've been riding for them for close to about 10 years now, like 9 or 10 years. I'm their crossover athlete. I was actually picked up with them to ride in the Ultimate Border, which was a contest held where you compete and surf, skate, snowboarding. It was awesome, actually. I actually had a chance to compete with guys like John Florence, Nathan Fletcher, Christian Assoy, all these top guys from each of like their disciplines, and I was able to hang with them because I can compete in all three. It's awesome. It's like they might get me in that one discipline, but then I can get them back in the other two, and I can place higher than them in the event itself, because it's like your total at the end of all three on how you place. And I actually placed in it twice. I got 7th place and an 8th place.
All right.
2 of the 4 years that it ran. But yeah, so and ever since my years that I used to like compete, it's kind of just turned into a free riding for them now. I just do it for the love, and I still do all three, and yeah, so I'm still
So
That's
so
great, man.
is that how you ended up going to school for meteorology and landing the job with Surfline? Your love of surfing, or?
yeah, that's so you guys might as well sit back. I'll tell you about my whole life story.
Let's go. I'm gonna sit back here. I got my water.
Let me get my beer.
Yeah,
I got my seawater here. That's what keeps me strong.
Oh yeah.
Gotta drink seawater.
All right.
yeah, it's I got involved in weather because I surf. I mean, I think every surfer in their own right is kind of a weatherman. I mean, like we have to be, right? I'm like you go to the beach and you take into just all of like the variables. The wind, the tide, the swell direction. Like the temperature of things. It's you already kind of assess all that stuff. I just took it to the next level. With my interest, and what helped spawn that to grow further is because I live in I was from South Florida. And waves don't happen all the time, right? So you had to watch the weather. You had to watch all the time because it doesn't happen too often that we actually get waves. And back in the day, there wasn't very much as far as surf forecasting goes, especially for areas that everybody just assumes is flat all the time. So, and we also have this special phenomenon that actually happens here and nowhere else in the world that was a catalyst that got me into surf forecasting. It's called the Refraction Swell, and it's we can go into that like some other time. I can talk about that. It's actually still a theory of
what
what's
is
going
that
on.
is that from when the big nor'easters come down, or
When you have the nor'easter is another thing. That's when you actually get a northeast swell kicked down from a low pressure that moves off the northeast.
yeah, but you guys get the good waves down in your area down there with those, right? With the reefs and all that down there.
I
Yeah.
remember surfing in Cocoa Beach and Satellite Beach back in the day, and seeing the waves on the horizon, like just going down to you guys. Like it would just miss us.
Yeah,
and you guys would get it all down there. There's a window down there where you guys get really good waves. I don't want to mention any spots, but
yeah.
you guys get really
for
good
fear
waves. And I know about them, but I never surfed it.
Yeah.
But,
So the refraction swell occurs when there's northwest winds blowing off the coast of Florida, strong northwest winds, and it's all, like I said before, it's all math. When you have a wind blowing for a certain amount of time at, a certain velocity at a certain angle, you actually get this wind swell being blown out to sea. So the rest of Florida is actually flat, but in South Florida we get a refraction swell. It's actually arguably more of a refraction and reflection. Like I said, it's still a theory in a sense. It hasn't been fully proven, but it has a lot to do with the hard bottom off of Florida, where the 100-foot drop off is just right off the coast with the Gulf Stream, and that northwest wind swell is actually refracting and reflecting off the Gulf Stream, and the hard bottom with the drop off with how the swell turns and bends back into especially Palm Beach County. And that's why it usually shows biggest and strongest here, but it'll also get as far south as all the way down like South Beach, Miami.
Yeah, I've seen the waves in Miami. I was like, wow, man, I never knew there was waves there.
But further
But
north,
it actually breaks pretty good there sometimes.
yeah, and it has a lot to do with how Florida's shaped, how Palm Beach is the furthest east point here, like in Florida, and the coastline actually kind of slopes back towards the northwest to the north of that, and back down towards like a more like a southwest as you make your way down towards Miami. And with the Gulf Stream, how it runs off the coast, it runs closest to the coast here, and then it starts to get a little bit further away from the coast as you make your way up. And the 100-foot drop off does the same exact thing. It kind of V's out as it makes its way up the coast. So it kind of like funnels that swell like straight into here, and
Wow.
I have seen the surf here like in Palm Beach, you know, like my home spots of like I also don't want to name any breaks. Let's just say spots here like in Palm Beach will be overhead, like head high overhead, clean offshore winds out of the northwest, beautiful blue water. It's actually kind of crazy how like the water is already blue here, but during those it gets even more vibrant and clear and blue, and it's maybe some upwelling, maybe a break off of like the eddy from the Gulf Stream. Like that's still something that's yet to be proven, but it's you'll have this incredible blue barreling waves, offshore winds, head high overhead, and everywhere else to our north is flat.
So what you're saying, so what you're saying is the wind's blowing offshore really hard, and it's blowing, you know, basically offshore. The swells go out into the ocean, and then hit that what do you call it?
Gulf Stream.
The Gulf Stream, yeah, and then it bounces back and comes back and brings waves to you guys. That's a trip. I never knew that.
It's actually more of a combination of it's more so with the hard bottom of the 100-foot drop off, where you have the shelf goes out and, you know, into about the 100-foot mark before it actually drops off the deep water, and it's the refraction of the swell because swells will always refract, which means they'll turn and bend towards shallower water. So as the swell is actually being blown out to sea, it hits that shallower and starts to turn and bend into Palm Beach. And it's also with like a theory that it's assisted with the reflection off the Gulf Stream as like a barrier. It's kind of like a combination of the two. At least that's the leading theory about it. You know, like I said, it's one of those things that's basically the catalyst that got me into surf forecasting, because I want to know why that actually happened. Like, why is everywhere else? Because usually when you live down here in South Florida, you got to drive north for waves. But on these rare special things, it's only happening here, and everybody from up north actually wants to drive down here. And you know, so
I never knew about that. That's interesting, man. That's pretty cool.
Well, we sent you a little package, and it's got a little GPS tracker on it. If you could just put it on the bottom of your car, and, just play it, man. I don't want to steal your spots.
Steal.
Steal his spot. What's happening, right? Like I want to know, why is Palm Beach head high and everywhere else flat? You know, and so I would go to the beach. I would check it all the time. I would watch the Weather Channel. I would see what the National Weather Service is saying, and I started to like just write down some notes, trial and error kind of thing. You know, I would just pack my car, go to the beach. I can't tell you how many times I drove over there because I didn't live on the beach. You know, I'm not rich enough to live on the beach, right? So I had to drive. And
not like the typical way that people would live on the beach.
Yeah,
like if I was living on the beach, it would be in an old vehicle or something, or some sort of
van down by the river.
Because Palm Beach is a super rich island, right? You know, so it's and basically like the cops wouldn't let you just sit in like a Volkswagen bus there. You know? It would just kick you out. But yeah, I used to drive there, and I used to always pack in my car not only like my board, but like my fishing pole, a skim board, skateboard. So I'm ready like for anything if there's no waves. But I would go there all the time, and I can't tell you how many times, just like you saw, you know, you would see like the horizon out there, just this huge bump out there, and like, but it's still flat. And then a set will show up. It's like knee to waist high, and then 10 minutes later, it's waist to chest high, and then 10 minutes after that, it's chest to head high. You're like, holy crap! You know, like it just goes from flat to head high in like a half hour, and you're like, and it can drop off just as fast. You know, or the winds will switch. So it'll go from the northwest, which is what's actually like is like the reason for it, and as a high pressure moves further east, those northwest winds will clock around from the northeast. So your nice clean swell starts to turn into just northeast chop. So you only had that little window in there, but every now and then, I mean, shoot, like this past winter time, we actually had a couple of those events that happened for like days on end, where we had northwest winds and that refraction swell for like 4 or 5 days, you know,
Wow.
yeah.
I never knew about that. That's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah.
And I wanted to kind of ask you about like the WSL, for example. We were talking about the contest this week and how you guys are working closely with the WSL with the Surfline, you know, and how does that work? I mean, do you guys like give them the report and you're checking the buoys for them? And I'd like to hear about that.
Yeah, so we are the official forecasters for the WSL for the World Tour, and we have been for years now, which is awesome. You know, I take care of a few of the events through the year. Kevin Wallace does too, Kurt Corte, Mike Watson. So we just kind of take, you know, we each have a couple of the events through the year that we each. And then some of them, like, we tag team, right? Because, you know, because the event window can be 2 weeks long, you know, and you know, you don't want to work 2 weeks straight, so you work like a week, and then I'll pass it off like to Kevin Wallace. But we give them the updates through email, through phone calls, every possible means, just to make sure that they know exactly what's going to be happening. You know, we're on the phone with the contest directors. We're giving them, like I said, we give them the email update, which we actually post also in a blog on the website, so everybody can see that. But then we also have separate private emails with them, to kind of just being more frank, like, hey, this is what I really think, you know, as opposed to just the cut and dry, like southwest swell and head high. You know, we actually tell them, like, you know, I think the morning is going to be a bit slow. You guys should probably maybe hold off till the middle to the later part of the morning. You know, kind of give them a little bit more of like the bro deal kind of thing, as opposed to the official. So yeah, we definitely give them the official forecast, and then we give them extra insight, frequent updates, morning, just as they come. You know, if something changes, you know, like we see the buoys do something different, or the wind forecast, you know, we just give them like the latest information as soon as we can, so they have everything right there in front of them to make the right call.
Yeah, because nowadays you guys are able to like pinpoint the swell to a science, you know, like, you know, exactly when the buoy hit, what time, you know, so that's pretty awesome that you guys work with the WSL and make it happen, you know.
Yeah, you know, it is becoming a little bit more perfect, if you want to say it that way, but I will say it's still Mother Nature.
Right, that's true.
And she will still humble you. You know, but we are certainly, you know, we work hard every single day to be as accurate as possible. You know, it's not only do we want to be, you know, give them, you know, be right for them, but we want to be right for ourselves. You know, like we don't want to be wrong. You know, it's like
And what's the future for surf reporting? What can people be expecting to see in the future? What do you predict?
Oh man. I definitely will say it's going to be there is this growing battle with human forecaster versus model. As the models are getting better, you know, it's they're just getting more and more accurate. There's more information out there. There's satellites pulling in information that actually scan like the ocean surface, and it can tell by the ripples on the ocean how strong the winds are. And like I said, it's math. So, you know, you put those math problems into the computer model and it crunches them. It gives you like some numbers of what it thinks it's going to be.
Do you think there's going to be like the Max Headroom reporter of surfing? So like, you know, you might get some guy who'd be like, "It's looking good today, bro. Tasty waves."
Yeah.
You know what? You're actually not far off there. At least what I think. I do think there's a lot more of the human forecaster having to gravitate to the communication aspect of how we're delivering the information. Whether it's more video forecasting, maybe podcast, it just things like that, of getting the word out there, because even though the computer models might get more and more accurate over the years, people still want somebody to tell it to them. And not to put myself out of a job, but there's still a human element that takes all the information in, what the models are saying, what the buoys are saying, all these different things, local knowledge of a certain break that you're forecasting for, or a certain region. But then you also have that gut feeling, and the model just doesn't have that, where you look at something and you're like, man, and with that gut, how you have that gut feeling is experience. And our forecast team Chris Borg has been working for Surfline now for, I want to say, like 40 years, 3 or 4 decades. That guy has the most experience in the world as far as surf forecasting goes, and the rest of the team is not too far behind him. So our forecast team as a whole has so many years of experience, and that's kind of priceless when it comes to giving you a forecast, because when you have somebody that's seen the same thing over and over and over for years, where you see a certain low set up off of New Zealand and you see the winds, you're like, hey, I've seen this a million times over. This is how I think it's going to be on the South Shore of Oahu, because I've seen it. Whereas the models, it might ingest some bad information and give you something wrong. So the human can see that and correct the model and take into consideration like all these different variables. And then, like I said, the X factor is that gut feeling, the experience of seeing these things for years.
I think Brian has a great future in it, man. You should be the surf report with that voice, Brian. That'd be cool.
Computer voice for it.
That's right. I could be like,
It could be the man.
Beware waves, danger.
The devil voice.
Get ready.
Hey, Jonathan, man, it's been great hearing, talking to you about this. I've learned a lot today, and for our listeners, get on surfline.com, become a premium member. You get to see cams all around the world, check the waves wherever you want, watch it all day if you want. I'll leave a link in the description, and man, it's been a pleasure meeting you and having you on the show. Really nice to meet you, brother.
Yeah, man, I'm pleasantly surprised. I was expecting an old dude and
pleasantly
boring,
surprised. That's always everybody wants to hear that. I was pleasantly surprised.
Well, I was expecting a meteorologist, like an old boring guy that would be sitting there going, well, the circumference of the people would be sitting there like, but
I am not going to lie. A lot of the people that I went to school with that actually went through like a meteorology program are probably along those lines. But I like I said, why I got involved like in meteorology is because I surf. I just want to know how the waves are going to be. That's why I want to learn more about the weather so I can score. Like I'm just now have turned that into helping others.
Right. Yeah.
So what turned into me just wanting to get more waves, and now I'm just trying to help other people,
Well, I'd rather
awesome.
listen to a younger ripper dude than some nerdy meteorologist.
Depending on what he's wearing. It all depends on what the fellow's wearing. Let's be straight up. I mean, you can't.
Well, if he's dressed like Bill Nye the Science Guy, then, I'll probably, if he's got the little, pen holder thing in his shirt pocket or whatever, I'll kind of like, this is probably going to be pretty boring.
Yeah, good luck to you in the future of Surfline, and I hope you guys keep growing and getting, new technology coming, and good luck in your surfing career. Keep riffing and surfing.
And send us some of those good videos of some crazy stuff. We'll put it on the show.
Yeah, dude, maybe we'll do a whole new segment for that. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Sex on the Beach from Surfline.
I can send those clips.
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm sure you got some paranormal shit on there probably too, huh? Like some creepy, kind of crazy stuff too,
especially at the nighttime. You
get
can
some
see
wildlife down there and stuff.
Wildlife, yeah, definitely. We have pretty much caught it all. If it gets in front of the camera, which is streaming 24/7, if it's something that comes in front of that camera, it's being recorded. So
Wow.
Cool.
You heard it here, kids. You heard it here first. You want to see streaming cameras 24 hours? Go to Surfline. Until next time, I'm B-Max, and this is Matt Coast to Coast.
yeah.
Matt Coast to Coast!